What's up, everybody? So this is gonna be a lot more chill than I usually do my videos and my streams. I've had a couple people reach out to me that missed the AMA today, and they just kind of want to know what was talked about. So I'm gonna go over it. I listened to almost the entire thing, so I know most of it, and I took some notes. But also, they created a Twitter thread, so I'm gonna kind of look at that as well. I'm gonna go ahead and post on Twitter that we're live. That way, people can tune in. So just bear with me for a second. Let's see, live talking about the VEVE AMA today. So yeah, if you're in the live chat and you caught the AMA and you find that there's anything that I am not saying, feel free to drop it in the chat. I don't know how many people need or care about this, but there's some pretty important things that were said today. I'll go ahead and talk about the ones that I took notes of right away, just to kind of keep it short and sweet. They talked about MTL, of course, a really important topic, and basically that they're on the very end of it. Let's see if they have it in here anywhere. I think they just started a thread. Here, I'll go ahead and make this bigger than myself. There we go. Let's see. AMA Twitter thread. Here we go. MTL, yeah, that was the first thing that they mentioned. So the MTL is in the final stage of compliance with payment partners and our banking institutions. Once ready, Gem to Fiat will be at omivv.me only. At first, only a few select users will be invited to test before we open up in the full audience. More on web wallet and KYC soon. Yo, what up, homie, Mike Jack? Welcome to the stream. Just kind of going over the AMA today for anybody that missed it. So one big thing here is I was asking, but they didn't get around to it, is if it's going to be randomly selected who the first to get MTL will be, or if that's going to be systematic based on the OGs or people who've been there the longest. I don't really know. I'm kind of interested because MTL is kind of a big deal, so it's going to suck if it's a month transition. I don't know how many people watching this or that are going to watch this afterwards were there for the secondary marketplace. But back in February and March, the secondary marketplace started opening up to fewer and fewer people. So at first there might have been only 500 people with the secondary marketplace, and obviously that gave them a major advantage on all the other people who didn't have the secondary marketplace because it was down. So I don't know. I'm interested to see whether that's going to be random or it's going to be select users. Is it going to be influencers? Is it going to be collectors who have a lot of fiats? You definitely missed it. Yeah, so this would be a good recap for you. I listened to most of it, but they do have a thread up. I had a couple questions I wish they could have got to, but I mean, there were some good questions asked, so I'm not mad about it. The MTL is a big thing. I'll get to the other big things in a bit, but just the fact that it's only going to be opened up to a certain amount of users is definitely interesting to me. But that won't last very long. Mutable X is in the final stretch. It says we'll be releasing info on how to use token swap site exchanges going between L1 and L2. How-tos first phase will be migration to GoChain IMX when interoperability once everything is set. So yeah, when they mentioned Immutable X, I feel like they didn't say all this. They literally just said, "Oh, what's Immutable X?" Joking around about it because they're hinting off that it's going to be close. So hopefully that's right around the corner. They did say that every single coin is going to be swapped. I will be dropping a video once they announce how to do this. I'll be putting a video on my channel on how to do this, on how to get your tokens off of GoChain and onto Ethereum. So stay tuned for that. Let's see what else they talked about. In my notes, oh yeah, this is a big one. So many of you probably know what happened over the last few weeks where they accidentally gave double the amount of gems to certain accounts. And since then, they took back those gems. And some people had a negative balance. Yo, what's up, Justin? Some people had a negative balance because of this. Obviously, it was really detrimental for some people. I mean, think about you buy 1,000 gems. They gift you 1,000, which, obviously was an accident. Well, now you're 1,000 in the hole, especially where you spent those gems. So it was a big deal. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to do similar what they did in March with the, I think it was March, with the, what was it? The Ultraman 2D drop. I actually got it. I just couldn't think of it right now. But the secret rare drop. So they're going to be gifting secret rares to people who had this issue. That's pretty cool. It's like a, hey, we're sorry. We're obviously not going to give you money, but we will give you a collectible, a secret rare collectible at that. So who knows what that'd be worth? I imagine it's going to be like, at least a 1K floor at first. So that's a pretty good gift. Let's see what else we got. Well, everything that is not allowed to be interoperable will still be minted on Immutable. Everything is minted on chain as an NFT. Each licensor wants to be revenue positive, so we think most of the interoperable at this point, but some may take longer. Okay. The VEVE. Okay, so I think this was already said in one of the recent AMAs, but I wasn't there for it. So I'm glad I got some clarity on this. So I don't know if they talk about it later on or not, but they did talk like a lot about the VEVE. And one of the specific things that they talked about is that they are going to be selling land in the VEVE, and you buy land with OMI, and then that OMI is taken out of circulation. So that's going to be a big impact towards the circulating supply of OMI. I'm really excited about that because obviously supply and demand at that point. I just made an OMI video and it did pretty well, just talking about like my speculation of the coin and where it's going. Talked a lot about how the reserve wallet is so huge and how the burns are going to have something special. Well, this right here could be something special, which is like buying land with OMI. You can also buy it via fiat as well. But again, to my knowledge, let's see if it says right here. Any OMI spent on land or anything we don't have IP limits on can be burnt, diminishing the circulating supply, all based on demand. That's a pretty big deal again, so that's pretty cool. What else we got here? I know they talked about, this is kind of a random question that like Crypto Khaki had. He basically just asked if the collectibles will be able to be tracked from every user since day one. It's kind of cool what he wants to do with it. Basically, he wants to like take a Todd or like one of the founders' like favorite NFTs, and he wants to pass it around to a bunch of people and then give it back to the founder just kind of as a thank you for like starting this awesome project. And then to kind of have like all of our signatures on it. It's a pretty good idea. Well, they just confirmed that it's unlimited. Like it can, be hundreds of owners and then have them all on record, just like you do on like most like Ethereum transactions, so where you can just go and look exactly where the collectible has been. We did see as well, this might not be new to some of you, but the VEVE is, I know I'm like talking more than reading this. Again, I was there. I just kind of wanted to use this as reference. I didn't realize that they listed all of the questions individually, but it's not that many, so maybe we can get there. But we'll just keep on talking about the VEVE. Let's see. Integration. Okay, we talked about that. I'll go back to the VEVE in a second. We'll work our way down. More functionality is coming to the comics, like tilting comics using AR reader. Working on better sorting and organization of digital comics alongside collectibles. Comic showing and the wish list is also coming. So yeah, like right now when you're watching this video, you can't actually put comics in your wish list. So they're going to add that, of course. This is the transaction history that I was talking about that Crypto Khaki asked, and they said there will be a historical record of ownership. Accessibility. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We will investigate how we can improve accessibility and readability when listing collectibles in the market. Okay, so the good thing about like watching this video opposed to like going to read this for yourself is you might be a little confused on like why that was asked, like the context. So there's this guy, I think his name is Sean. I'm not positive on it, but he's legally blind and he's having trouble. He accidentally like listed the wrong price, and it's hard for him to like get on the drops. And not just like to call him out as an individual. Like there's a lot of people with like some kind of physical impairment, and they're basically just asking for like more attention to that area. That way they're not missing out on drops, they're not mislabeling things, and just to kind of like make it fair for everybody. I guess I can go ahead and pop up these. I forgot that I could do that. So like shout out to Homie Jack. I love the just do it. A lot of people in my videos talk about how I look like Shia LaBeouf. Cracks me up. What are you stacking? I doubled my OMI bag last week and I bought a lot of Hex. That's what I'm stacking right now. I hate that I have to say this in streams, but not financial advice. You do you. All right, Showroom V2. So basically, there's a new version of the Showroom coming out. If you have a Showroom V1, you're considered like an OG of the Showroom. You can continue to have that Showroom V1, but if you delete your Showroom V1, you no longer have it. So if you have a Showroom V1, you don't want to get rid of it, don't delete it because you can't make another one. says we've opened up the space where people can place their collectibles in the sky at any size. Blank canvas space option where you can create your showroom from scratch. Accessories also coming. We love the showroom creativity from the community. Can you build messaging into the app? I actually didn't remember. I don't remember this question. It says, yes, we understand there are certain use cases where messaging in the app can be useful, so we're working on adding that functionality in the future. Interesting. I don't see it covered, but they did talk a little bit about the Vverse being more about social and less about gamification immediately. I think it was Dan said several times, like right when Vverse drops, don't expect a ton of gamification. Like gamification will be coming, but the main thing is going to be social. What I assume that means is like we're going to be chilling in like different like social rooms with our avatars, which are going to be like our collectibles, kind of, and like showing off our showrooms and like stuff like that. But he did say like not to expect a wide variety of gamification right at the start, even though of course like that's all part of the roadmap. When can we use the app offline? There's a lot of tech in the app that needs to be linked back to the server. Running it offline would require a big upgrade. However, we are exploring options for comics. Okay, that makes sense. When does season 2 end and season 3 begin? Season 2 ends October 14th and season 3 starts October 15th. Stay tuned for more info. Land for everyone in the Vverse. Each piece of land will be its own NFT, so it will be limited. That's interesting. So, like I said earlier, you'll be able to buy land with fiat or OMI. So they're kind of incentivizing people to spend their OMI on land. At this point, OMI is going to be burned at a pretty large rate, in my assumption. They said the OMI that you use to buy the land will be burned. So that's a big deal. Can we get comic books signed by the artist? That's really cool as well. We'll be rolling out digital signatures features in the future. Artists can be signed NFTs at events. That signature will be bundled with the NFT. So if you sell it, proof of signature is also on the roadmap. That's really cool as well. Are you going to get any serial killers? I would like to. It's I don't know how I feel about Saturday morning drops. So it just depends if I can participate in the drop. I would definitely like go out of my way for it if it was a drop that I like really cared about. I watched a little promo video. It's pretty cool. I don't know if it's, and I'll probably participate because I participate in like most drops, and I have extra gems right now because I've been flipping comics. Did they talk about being able to buy VV NFTs with OMI? I don't think so. They like very like briefly mentioned like I think OMI to NFT, but they didn't talk about it even enough to include it in this thread. At least I didn't hear it. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is big. So actually a few of these are big. New York Comic-Con, many cool drops throughout that week, similar to the San Diego Comic-Con. One we did earlier this year. We'll have a con exclusive tags and lower edition runs. So like obviously if you're there for that, you know that Comic-Con kind of failed. So the fact that this New York Comic-Con is going to go through is pretty cool. And I'm actually like, I was used to be upset that the San Diego Comic-Con failed, but like honestly, I don't think they did VV justice. I think VV is like more advanced than their little virtual reality that they have, which I'm sure the New York one will be similar, but I don't know, man. We're just ahead of the game, to be honest. When will we get multi-language support in the app? It says we'll see what we can do to get it bumped on the priority list, so hopefully by the end of the year. There are Ikami, Omi language groups on Telegram and VV groups coming to Discord as well. I think around that point, somebody mentioned that they had their own Telegram that was for like Dutch. And I think there's like other specific VV and Ikami Telegrams like made for different languages. Gemgate. This is what I talked about earlier. This is a bug where people got more gems than they paid for, need to recoup that lost profit product as business, but those affected will get a secret rare collectible as an apology for the inconvenience and frustration around the issue. We have the final list of users already, so don't go out reaching out to them like hoping to get a free collectible. They already got like all the users already. This is good for them to do. I thought that was kind of I understand from the business standpoint why they did it. It just kind of sucks that whole situation happened. All right, so yeah, we had over 1,000 listeners in the space today, which is pretty crazy. I think like even a couple of months ago, there was like under 100 in the spaces, like especially like in the Discord spaces. So on the Twitter space today, having over 1,000 was like wild. That's really it. Let's see if I have any like more notes. And if you guys that are watching right now, I see a couple of you like in the chat right now. If I missed something that you caught, go ahead and give it to me. Like drop it in the comments. And I'll put it up on the screen. My biggest notes was the MTL is on the final stages. Only certain users will get MTL at first until I guess like a couple, hopefully days, but maybe weeks go by. They're giving away the secret rare. The collectibles will be completely trackable, and the Vverse will be more social. It's going to start out social, which I guess I should have known that already. I did have a few of my own questions. They didn't get addressed. This Twitter is still like fairly new. I've only had it for like 2 months. Let's see what my questions were. Hopefully they'll get answered one day. Can you expand on the purpose of the reserve wallet balance after the swap in blockchains? When you mentioned that you plan on burning directly out of the circulating supply, how will that look? So if you've watched my last video, you'll know what I mean by this question. Because the original design for the reserve wallet balance was to provide liquidity, not thinking that would have as many OMI holders, but we have way more OMI holders than they expected to. So the purpose is really just no longer needed. So I was just kind of wondering what the purpose is. And if that's ignored, then how are we going to burn directly out of the circulating supply? Hopefully they get answered next OMI or next AMA. And then will there be any OMI burns implemented outside the app on the smart contracts? I was mainly just talking about if we go to OpenSea or Foundation or anything like that. There's some other good questions that I know were answered. There's also some good recommendations for VEVE that people had, but I guess they didn't include it on this thread. It looks like they didn't talk about everything on this thread. I'm just seeing if I missed anything at all. Again, a couple of people were asking me, because they saw that I was part of the AMA or that I was in there, just what they missed. And I mean, those are really the highlights to it. So they said soon a lot. It looks like they were really excited. Let's see. The comics are a big hit. Never seen this coming. Yeah, the comics are a huge hit. I think it's like the cheapest lottery ticket you can buy right now, because you can obviously spend $7.99 on a comic and get a couple $1,000s, or worst case scenario you double your money with a common. Even if you get a low mint common, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer for me right now to try to be getting comics. It's just so it gets harder and harder with every drop. I think the AR functionality was kind of like next level. I've never seen anything like that, honestly, when they released that. So just being able to like blow up the comic and put it on a table or put it on the floor and read it was just kind of like awesome. So I definitely think that bumped up the prices, and just making an NFT that's fully readable as well is kind of next level. So they really nailed it with the comics. Let's see. This is really cool too, like being able to get your comic signed by the artist. I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it's going to be. And they announced it. What? I know there's something they didn't mention on this thread that was like kind of stood out to me. They talked about staking OMI and Master Collector, but it was very brief, so I don't want to talk like too much on it because like they didn't say a whole lot. I just know I think it was Reese and maybe Dan. We're just kind of going back and forth about how they're excited about it, but how it's not public knowledge yet. And about OMI burns coming and the utility that's coming. And they're just saying like, they're both excited about it. So hopefully it's going to be groundbreaking for all. I'm holding, quite a few collectibles, quite a bit of OMI. So I'm excited, to see the future of it. What else did I miss? Did I miss anything else? I think that's really it. Integration with OMI utility. We will be selling land that can be purchased fiat or OMI. I do think it's interesting that you can purchase land with fiat. I don't know. Like, I'm wondering how much land's going to cost, and like how big the sections are, how big the Vverse is. I don't know. It's just kind of mind blowing, to be honest, when you think about all of it like coming to fruition. So yeah, before I'm kind of just chilling right now, honestly. If you guys caught anything in the AMA that I haven't mentioned yet, you know, go ahead and drop it down in the comments. If you want to talk about anything specifically before I get off, drop it down in the comments. I'm just chilling. I think this is than they planned. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were one of the top grossing entertainment apps this entire year. They expected Omi to be like fractions of a cent, which I guess you consider as fractions of a cent, but I think they expected like 0.00003 instead of 0.003. So the adoption was just, I think, way larger than they could have ever dreamed. And I think they've done a fair job at trying to keep up with it. Because, I mean, when you're expecting VEVE AMA. Updates on the following. Okay, MTL cash out. They did provide updates on that. Immutable X. Immutable X is more of a it's coming, so it wasn't really an update, but you know it's coming. Master Collector. They just kind of barely touched on that, but again, just said they were excited. Showroom V2. The main thing they said about that was that you're allowed to keep your Showroom V1 if you've already made it, but if you delete it, then you can't carry it over. I'm surprised there's not more of these tags. There's mine. Let's see if an item hasn't sold out. Is there still a chance of a low mint number like number 41 could still be available? Yes. The answer to that is yes. Is it still in the plan to provide an option in the app to view the last 10 purchase prices of any given collectible? Thanks and awesomeness all around. I mean, that's a yes, too, once we move over to the Ethereum blockchain, because we'll be able to see every single purchase and move, right? The last 10 purchase price. Oh, okay, never mind. I see what they're talking about. I mean, you could still track them individually, though. All right, guys. Well, I know that was short. That was like, you know, an hour of me listening to the VEVE AMA in the matter of 23 minutes, and I kind of just chilled for some of it. But if you missed it, I hope that provided some information for you. Again, just to recap, I think the biggest things was that MTL is in the final stages. MTL will only be offered to like a select amount of people once it's dropped, but hopefully that's just a matter of days, if not weeks. OMI utility is coming, and they're excited about it. And so if they're excited about it, then we should be excited about it. They're giving away a secret rare to those who kind of got the gems on accident and then got them taken back just as an apology, like, you know, because that was just a big mess. And the Vverse will definitely you'll be able to buy land either via fiat or OMI, and if you buy it OMI, then we'll be seeing OMI burns, which is a big deal. If you know me, I do talk about the burns a lot, especially if we're burning through that reserve wallet, because as soon as we get that reserve wallet down and get into that circulating supply, we're already going to see price affected by like adoption, but that's where we'll really see like supply and demand. So anyways, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks, man. Great show. I appreciate it. I know it's super short and super chill, but I had a few people asking me, so I figured I'd just like kind of sum it all up together and, you know, just a live, just kind of chill out for a bit. But anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.